22だよ。
ということは全然大丈夫だよね。
Why is the show so determined to invite the FBI to my house? Good opener for this one, yeah, let's just skip it and just get right into the episode proper. Anyway, after learning that this is going to be a pop episode, I was kind of under the impression that we'd get follow-up to this line from the previous one. Like, maybe we'd get to see what sort of adventures she'd have while the other Ojamajo were gone, but...
Nope.
Instead, the Ojamajo were at home, in particular Doremi, who was acting like me in the morning before I have my coffee. Fortunately for Pop, she had the power of youth and entitlement.
だって私もう年長さんだもん。
Whoop-de-doo!
Hell, she even had the teachers simping for her. And to help reinforce such bad values, they had also hired a new PE teacher.
純一先生よ。
はじめまして、純一と言います。
Wait, that voice sounds oddly familiar. Oh no, wait, don't tell me that's... God damn it. And let me guess, he's gonna sound like he has the script right in front of his face the whole time.
君がポップ幼稚園か。どうポップちゃん。どうぞよろしく。
Seriously, what did this guy do to be able to play 5 characters in this franchise? I mean, if the idea is that he's supposed to sound like an awkward, nervous wreck, well, he certainly has that down. Problem is, that's this actor's standard performance. Granted, Junichi here was nowhere near as bad as Hachitaro, as at least he wasn't adding on an even more awkward cephalopod accent, and honestly, the worst aspect of this character wasn't even necessarily his fault, even if he did kind of trigger it. Like, seriously bro, what did you expect was gonna happen if you did something like this? It's almost as bad as just leaving your shirt unbuttoned all the time and... Wait, who wrote this episode? Damn it, Narita. Later, they played some good old... But as usual, Kimitako is bullying the other kids while also just so happening to attract Pop's attention. Thus, wanting to prove that they're good little white knights, the Simp Squad did a roll call and yeah, same Kimitaka, same. This resulted in Pop giving chase and almost falling off of the jungle gym. Fortunately, Junichi saved the day and unintentionally kept adding to those Pop affection points.
やっぱり付き合うなら大人の男の人よね。
Am I dead yet?
Meanwhile, Doremi talked about her sister with her friends who just kept adding on the praise. So yeah, let's address one of the bigger issues I have with this episode. There's way too much Pop praise. It was kind of a thing back in season 1, and there it did make sense to build Pop up only to give her a taste of humble pie later when she did make mistakes like accidentally pulling a Ghostbusters incident at her school. Thus, when the Ojamajo came in to clean up her mess, it both deepened the bond between the sisters and made the youngest witch realize that she still had a lot to learn. Here though, it just feels like we're almost completely resetting that arc with everyone again saying she's doing everything right even though she's doing one thing very wrong. And look, I'm not saying it's out of character for Aiko and Hazuki to be praising her, or that people wouldn't have to relearn certain lessons, but it still does feel like we're needlessly retreading old waters. But anyway, the kindergarten later went on a field trip to the petting zoo.
ポップちゃん一緒にウサギ見よう。ポップちゃんポニーに乗ろうよ。
Okay, I know I'm probably overusing this clip, but come on, I gotta use it here. However, Pop wasn't interested in petting the animals, but rather wanted someone to pet her, so she made a little gift for Junichi, who thankfully at least was getting closer to someone of his age.
少し休んでください。子供たちは私が見てますから。
Wouldn't it be funny if this chick turned out to have the same voice as Surumeko? It is the same voice actress. The more you know? Thus to get Sensei to notice her, god I feel dirty just saying that, Pop whipped out her new spellcasting animation with some discontinued toys at the time that actually managed to create life. It was enough of a miracle to distract the kids, though not long enough to keep the Simp Squad at bay, who ended up forming an unholy alliance with Kimitaka. They gave the teacher a layer of challenge that granted had some awful handwriting, though at least it wasn't as bad as this dude's line reading. What is this? I do not know. Sensei, do you know the way? With Surumeko Sensei's help, he ended up mistaking it as an invite to play with a sheep. Yeah, lady, maybe next time you should also take a look at the front of the letter. Just saying, that might be a little important. And coincidentally, the rest of the Ojamajo were also on a field trip there as a part of their art class. As a result, Doremi ended up literally running into his sister and her teacher.
いい感じじゃん。このミカもダメだよ。純一先生は私が先。
Seriously, you two, stop making me have to change the VPN location to this place. The two ended up going with him to his quote-unquote duel with Kimitaka, who honestly has been the most interesting character of this otherwise very subpar episode. Throughout the series, he's clearly had a crush on Pop, but also has his pride, and very understandably didn't want to become a member of the Simp Squad, so he tried to cover up for that fact, yet still shows some obvious envy towards Junichi. He's actually a fairly well-layered character, and leagues more interesting than this stupid love triangle over a plank of wood. And at the very least, he was a driving force behind the conflict of this episode, for better and for worse. Didn't we already do this in the last episode? Yeah, we're ending this episode with another livestock stampede, though with something a little less threatening. I mean, granted, I don't know how strong stampeding sheep are, but it's hard to take them that seriously when they jump over a fence like they're trying to get me to go to sleep. Hell, it gave Junichi an opportunity to make this ship sail, as if we didn't get enough of it with their counterparts. Though at least these two probably won't make a mutant baby. Anyway, the Ojamajo of course turned to their usual confusing Deus Ex Machina. Oh goody, on top of everything else, now we have some furries. Just give me the chair already. But with that, they managed to wrangle up the sheep, Junichi got even more needless praise, and Doremi didn't finish her art project. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the field trip, and in turn the assignment, should have been cancelled as soon as the animals started going wild, but what do I know? And the episode ended with me sympathizing with Majurika more than ever. Seriously, Doremi telling her to shut up is nothing new, but Pop telling her precious plush-chan to shut up, all because of some stupid puppy love, yeah, that's just not in character to me. And in general, the writing of this whole episode just felt off. Of course, I think a lot of that stems from this love triangle subplot. On top of just its general eye-rolling factor, we all know nothing significant is gonna come out of this for our main characters, so why should we be invested? If anything, it just causes more harm to the Harakaze sisters, as it feels like they're just going back to their season 1 selves, even though they have developed a lot since then. This was one of those episodes where you could really tell it was the writer's first time writing for a new franchise. And while Yoshimi Narita can be a very good writer at times, often she does rely a little too much on certain writing quirks and tropes. Whether it be an over-reliance on comedy, or seemingly an obsession with forbidden romance, even though they really can't do that on a kid's show. And yet, for whatever reason, she decided to make Pop into older men, even though I don't think that's ever been hinted at. Hell, in general, she's never seemed like she's been that into romance like her sister, and was just saying that she had a bunch of simps as a flex. Yet she falls for this poorly acted nerd who's just gonna repeat the same romance as the cephalopods, so why even waste our time with such a pointless plot? Neither of the Harakaze sisters learned anything, and are arguing like they did back in season 1, even though they have been starting to respect each other a little more. About the only good thing in this episode was Kimitaka, as at the very least he had an understandable and sympathetic motivation. If this episode had been more about him becoming a little more honest with his feelings towards Pop, and maybe even earning some moniker of respect from her, then I would say I liked this story a lot more. But instead, it was a story that Narita would unfortunately recycle later, and ended on something that we've already seen in the last bad episode. In fact, this chain of episodes have been a major slog to get through, and I can only hope that the next one is at least a little better. Work on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Openings ranking video is all but done. I just have to do these sort of live action segment recordings. From there, we've got a few new ideas for this channel that I do want to tackle, especially as the reviews of PPGZ are starting to wrap up. Needless to say, it is going to be more magical girls, though of slightly different flavors. So look forward to it, and until then though, for now my friends, and really? No busting down my door or anything? Oh right, tax cuts. Now if only I could get a good refund. you.